You can start this by donating things, like money, for example, or clothes. But pay attention. Not giving away clothes that you don't use anyway. That's not giving away, that's getting rid of. It's a bit of difference. Give away things that you really like and you don't want to give them away. But you know if you would give them away, then it would make some space or some order or some cleanliness in your house. So those are the things you should start giving away, and that will train your ability to just stop at some point and say, okay, this is not working anymore, let's just stop. Make sense?
Yes.
Others? Okay, who's awake? Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, what you should do next is, at first, probably most of you saw yourself in a few examples I gave. Most of you recognized abilities and weaknesses. First of all, you have to identify where you are, because you cannot go anywhere if you don't know where you are. You just keep going around and around. But to have a really good map, first you have to identify where you are. Then, depending on what you want to do next in your life, maybe you want your own business, maybe you want to become a leader, maybe you want to become a freelancer, I don't know. You have to choose what you want to develop of those profiles. I will make sure and speak to the organizers to get this PowerPoint to you, if it's okay. Do you want it?
Yes.
Okay. Now you're louder. So you should choose what you want to develop, which are the qualities that you want to develop, and you need to take action. That's the problem. That's a bit harder. I mean, you need to do something. I gave you some tips and tricks at each of them, what you could do and how you could train that profile. But finally, if you want to change something, you must do something. It's not working other way. Our brain learns through training. So if you repeat something enough, then it will become a routine, it will become an efficient thing. Until then, yes, it is an effort. Just like you learn how to drive, just like a kid learns how to walk. How many of you are parents? Okay. Those of you who want to become parents, just listen up. Tell me, when you see a kid that is trying to walk, right? His first effort to rise and shine and walk. What is his deadline for learning to walk? And then you look at your watch and say, okay, kid, you have 8 months to walk. I will help you 8 months, and then you're on your own. This is how you do it? Not really, right? How much time do you spend trying to help a child to walk? Until it walks, right? How much time do you spend trying to help a child learn math, for example? How much? Until he knows, right? So, no, you're not a parent, right? You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. Just wait a few years. Basically, when we are children and we are in the learning process, our parents stay near us, or educators or whomever, at least until they know they did everything they could to help us. How much do you think an adult should work on changing a habit? As long as it takes, right? Because we live in that illusion, because of our prefrontal cortex, that if we understood something, it will change. And it does not work that way. It's not enough to understand things, because our programming, our routines, our habits are within our limbic system, which is our emotional brain. And that is learning by repetition. It's not learning by understanding. Understanding is first point, but just think about reading a book about swimming and then just jump in the water, right? Just go, I know how to swim, right? It's not the same thing. The same is about learning a programming language. Even if you know other programming languages, it takes time to become efficient in something. So it's about repetition. You will have to do something in order to change. Until now, who understood something? Okay, thank you. I'm good at this. Let's see what are the conflicts that these profiles bring, and why employers and employees and freelancers don't get along sometimes and they don't understand each other. We will take these three because investor mindset usually is not necessarily inside the business, or it usually is inside an entrepreneur. We will take these three, and you should take into consideration that these mindsets are present in each business. You have colleagues with different mindsets at the same level. You have managers at the same level which have different mindsets. So let's see what happens when they meet each other. When an employee mindset means a freelancer mindset, the one with the employer mindset needs stability and needs subordination. Nothing should change, never. And okay, just tell me what to do, how to do it, what results you expect, and how much money you give me. This is what I want to know as an employee mindset. But a freelancer mindset needs to express itself, needs to evolve. So if the freelancer is not bugging the employee, then it will never be a conflict. Because the employee just does his job and just makes his routines and then just go home. But the freelancer goes to the employee and says, okay, you have a procedure there that you've written. If you rewrite that procedure, it will be much more efficient, the program you're doing. And the employee says, okay, I don't want to do that. Why? Why do you don't want to change? Because it's working fine. If it's working, I don't want to change it. The same way the freelancer goes to the employee and says, hey, I saw a course in your areas of expertise. You don't want to go to that course? No. Why? Because no one said that I'm making mistakes, I'm doing my job fine, so I do not need to change or to learn new things. So these two will see each other as follows. The freelancer will see the employee as someone who does not want to evolve, who is lazy, who is working the minimum amount possible just to go home, just to get some money. Vice versa, the employee will see the freelancer as someone who thinks they are smarter than everyone else, someone who gets in the way of everyone and tries to violate everyone with their need of evolution, and who is interested only in their career and in money. And just imagine if this is the boss. Is that situation when someone goes to his boss and says, okay, boss, we should open a new fast food. I had this experience with a friend of mine who built a 2 million euro business in 12 years. Being an employee, I mean, it's not his business. He was an employee. He started by cutting shawarma meat. That's where he started. And then he started seeing things in the business and changing things. He became manager and he maximized the profit of that workplace. And he said, okay, let's open another one. And the boss said, no, it's too complicated. It's too complicated to change everything now and go to another town and open it. No, we won't do that. Finally, they did it. This guy went from one another and maximized everything, profits and incomes and everything. And after 12 years, he said, okay, I cannot do this anymore. He's now a freelance and independent consultant and has his own business. But when the boss is this kind of mindset, for a freelancer, it's really hard to work with him. Because freelancers have ideas. They need to evolve, they need to develop, they need to expand. And an employee mindset will keep you within some range where you cannot do this. This relationship, when someone with employee mindset meets someone with entrepreneur mindset, is really, really fun. Because the employee will need stability, will need not to change anything, and the entrepreneur will need exactly the opposite. Someone who has a manager mindset needs to change all the time things, to adjust the system. Whenever he sees something that could work better, he needs to change, and he needs for the employee to be independent after the change. Okay, I told you what to do, now just grow by yourself, just do your job. And the employee will be the one who always comes and says, okay, is this okay? Yes, it is. Okay, and next day again, is this okay, is this okay, is this okay? It's really annoying for someone who expects independency. And the innovation, have you heard of innovation? Yeah, a lot of managers want to innovate. those who have this mindset have meetings for innovation. Everyone should come with at least 2 ideas to improve their own activity, right? And he asks the question, okay, have you thought of that? And they just don't understand how is it that you cannot see how to improve your own work. The answer is really simple. My brain does not work that way. It's really simple. Someone with a manager mindset will see systems in everything. He goes into the office and says to the employee, please print me the report of whatever. And he's quickly click, he stands up, takes the report and gives it back to him. And the manager says, if you move that printer 2 meters towards yourself, you will be able to just give me the report like this. Have you thought about that? Why? Because my brain does not work that way. A manager mindset will see systems in everything. That's a system. Printing out something and giving it to me, that's a system. Resources enter, results get out, in between everything can be improved. But an employee mindset will not think that way, will not work that way. If you want someone to innovate in your team, if you want someone to innovate in your company, then get yourself a freelancer mindset. And then try to hold him. Because freelancer needs to be independent and needs to prove that he's the best. And someone with a manager mindset needs to keep things steady and to build them steadily. When I was going to Horatio at first, he said, and I was telling something like, okay, I have an idea. I have a boot camp for advanced EQ training and we go in 1 week and so on. I was telling him, he said, okay, it's not possible. Come on, what do you mean it's not possible? It's not good for the long-term strategy. He had something in the long-term strategy which my mindset couldn't understand. And I was really frustrated. And there are a lot of managers who try to push down freelancers who come with ideas. Then he learned how to manage this. I was coming with the ideas every day. I call my colleagues at 8, 9, 10, 11 at night. I said, I have an idea. She said, okay, take some notes and then tomorrow we'll discuss it. And Horatio was like he was listening, okay. It's a very good idea, you should work on it and then we'll see how to fit it in the long-term strategy. And it was something like, okay, take your toys, go to your room, play with them and just leave the big guys work. So it's really important to understand that freelancers will get into competition with you. This is the problem of entrepreneurs, that freelancers will get into every system. They will give advice to every department. On a cigarette break or coffee break, they will be the ones who criticize everything. Everything. And they are better than everyone else. And this kind of energy is really good for growing and to motivate things, but it's not easy to manage because they are all over the place. So if you're an entrepreneur, you have to be prepared to have a guy that will be in competition with you all the time, and who will try to take your position of alpha male all the time. But then he will come with good ideas, and if you are a good manager, you will not have a problem with this. You will not have a problem with not understanding what others do in your team. You do not have a problem with not controlling everything that happens. I always say that you're a good manager or entrepreneur if you see a result in your company, one of your employees get a result, and you say, okay, how did you get that? And he comes and explains you what he did, and you don't understand the word. And you say, okay, great. And there are the times when my colleague Madalina, who is building all the funnels for email strategies and events and stuff, he sends me like 20 pages of emails she wrote. I mean, this is the first email on that date and those days and everything. And is it okay? Yes, it is. You haven't read it. I know. But if I read it, I have absolutely no idea if that's good or not. I will see on the results. If the results are not good, then we'll talk about what can I help you with to improve that thing. What do you think it's not working? And when my colleague Mihaela was going to Horatio and said, okay, this is good, Horatio said, what do you think? I think it's good. Okay, that is good. This is being a good manager and a good entrepreneur. Yes, you have to control the system, on the big image, but you don't have to get into every detail. Just when you see the results are not working, then you have to take a subsystem and analyze it. But not analyzing everything all the time, because that is really tiring for you and for your team. So what you should do next, yay, we still have 2.5 minutes. What you should do next is first to identify what are the needs that are conflicting. Because just think about, you can have this kind of conflict at home in your couple relationship. One of you comes with an idea, let's buy a new TV. And the other says, no, what's wrong with the old TV? Yeah, it's a freelancer and an employee mindset, a conservative mindset versus an innovative mindset, and you have to understand what are their needs, because otherwise you are just trying to convince them to have your needs, and it's not working. I don't know if you experimented this. It's not working that way. So first of all, you have to understand what your needs are in the equation and what are the others' needs. And then I will now tell you something I've learned from my couple relationship, Kami, my girlfriend, who we have 10 years right now. And she had a kind of a wisdom from the beginning of our relationship, which hurt me really badly, but then I started to understand. I became a bit more mature. In 10 years I had some time. And when I was going to her telling her, okay, you don't do this and you don't do that and you don't, whatever I said, I was like really hurting her. And she said at one point, she said, Lotan, if you are hurting this much beside me and in the relationship with me, just leave. And I said, what do you mean leave? I was like a knife in my heart, blood everywhere. And she said, she asked a question that I recommend you to ask yourselves, not the other one, in a couple relationship, in business, in relationship with friends. It sounds like this. Do you want me for who I am or for who you want me to become? Because it's really different. Do you want me for who I am or for who you want me to become? And this is the question you should ask yourself whenever you have a conflict. When you realize that the man in your team or in your relationship is not the man you want near yourself, there is one way trying to change him, right? You try this, right? That's one way, but just think about the fact that that man who is working with you or living with you trained her or his own mindset for maybe tens of years. So this is who she or he is. It is really hard for yourself to change something. But you expect the other one, just because we talked, right? You understand, right? Yes. Okay. Now you should change. It's hard for us to change. It's hard for us to change our habits and our way of being, but we always expect others just because we talked. Okay, now you change, right? Yeah, of course. So, instead of violating people around you, find their place in your organization or your team, and if you don't have a place for them, then let them find their own place somewhere else. Because, for example, some of you are working with a boss who is maybe killing you for the past 2 years, maybe. You don't understand him, or maybe you have a freelancer mindset, you have an employee mindset, or stuff like that, but you still wait him to change, yeah? Right? So you say, okay, he should understand that, and you have that speech in your head which says, okay, they should understand, they should change, they should do, they should whatever, and they will not. Guess what? It's their mindset. Like it's hard for you to change your own mindset overnight. It's the same way for other people. So, instead of fighting, find your own needs, find out what others' needs are, and let's respect each other. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, have a great day, and have a lot of fun tonight at the party, and tomorrow night at the party.